أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
All agree that he was a great person. Sayyid Maududi has left an indelible imprint on Islamic thought of the 20th century. He advanced the ideas of intellectuals like Imam Ghazali, Ibn Taymiyyah and Shah Waliullah. He had a deep impact on the Islamic thought. He identified the causes of the Ummah's decline and launched his great reform movement.
I was born on the 3rd of Rajab, 1321 Hijri. That is the 25th of September 1903 in Aurangabad. My family had a tradition of instruction and guidance.
A direct descendant of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Sayyid Maududi was a link in a long chain of scholars. One of the luminaries of the family was Khwaja Qutbuddin Maudud, whose name was adopted by the family. About 400 years after him, 10th Islamic century, Sayyid Maududi's namesake, Sayyid Abul Ala Maududi, migrated from Chisht, a town near Herat in Afghanistan.
Sayyid Abul Ala Maududi's father, Sayyid Ahmad Hassan, a lawyer, was born in Delhi in 1855 and died in 1920. His mother, Ruqayya Begum, passed away in 1958.
My early childhood was spent in Aurangabad, a famous city in Hyderabad, Deccan.
At home he learned grammar and composition, Arabic literature and books of Islamic fiqh. His schooling began when he was admitted in class 8 in Madrasa Furqaniya.
In school, I participated in essay writing and speaking contests. I realized that I had a natural talent for writing and speaking. At the age of 13, I took the Maulvi metric examination.
Since childhood, he loved writing, and Prophet Muhammad was his ideal whom he faithfully followed. His first research work that still exists is his essay on the life of the Prophet, written when he was only 12. At 15, he launched upon his career as a journalist. The period of reformation of his thought extends from 1918 to 1928.
In Hyderabad, Deccan, he was well known as a pious young man. His words, his manner of speech spoke of his uprightness.
Jamaat-e-Hind, the leading body of the Muslim ulamas of the subcontinent, required an able editor for a new weekly, Muslim. Maududi, who was just 18 then, was picked up for this responsible position. The weekly was published from the 1st of November 1921 till April 8, 1923. Maududi was its editor from July 26, 1922 to the last issue. He edited the party's official organ, Al-Jamiat, for 3 years, from June 14, 1925 to May 15, 1928, when the party joined hands with the All India National Congress. He believed that the one nation theory was against the spirit of Islam. In 1926, an incident took place in India which triggered Hindu-Muslim riots.
On the killing of the founder of the anti-Muslim Shuddhi movement, the Congress leaders got so inflamed that even Mahatma Gandhi blurted out, that in Islam it has always been the sword by which decisions are made. Provocation like these from Hindu leadership sent the Muslims in a state of gloom. Leading writer and orator Molana Muhammad Ali Jauhar called from the pulpit of Jama Masjid Delhi, who will come forward to refute these charges.
Young Maududi happened to be in the audience and came forth to do the needful. At the age of 23, Maududi wrote a series of articles on Islam's law of war in Al-Jamiat. In 1930, his articles, which had appeared in Al-Jamiat, were published in the form of a book, Al-Jihad fil Islam, a major work of Islamic scholarship on this subject. The poet-thinker Iqbal calls it an outstanding book on the philosophy of peace and war in Islam, suggesting that all educated people needed it. Constitutional lawyer Sharifuddin Pirzada writes that in Al-Jihad fil Islam, Molana Maududi has convincingly argued the case for Islam, which is blamed for being a religion of violence, and his arguments are relevant even to this day.
I have learned a lot from his many erudite works, especially Al-Jihad fil Islam, which explains an issue of scholarly importance in plain language.
I benefited the most from the holy book. I had begun it with a religious fervor, but during research I could study in depth the fundamental ideas of Islam, resulting in a better understanding of the Sharia, discovering that it was indeed so true.
The second period of Molana Maududi's life spreads from 1928 to 1932, when he explored the fundamental sources of Islamic thought and did intense research. After his initial foray in journalism, he entered the vast field of research and scholarship. In December 1928, he arrives in Hyderabad. In Hyderabad, he authored several remarkable books: Daulat-e-Asfiya or Hukumat-e-Birtaniya in 1928, Salajiqa in 1929, Dakkan ki Siyasi Tarikh in 1930, Asfar-e-Arba Diniyat in 1932, published in 1937. One of the most important books he wrote was the Rasala Diniyat, which explains the basic teachings of Islam.
What makes Molana Maududi's Diniyat so unique is its distinctly rational tenor in which it introduces Islam so comprehensively. It might have been written for the curricular needs of Hyderabad state, but even now it is an incomparable source of Islamic education.
Written in just 15 days, Diniyat is renowned globally, and it has been translated in almost 40 languages. The third phase of Molana Maududi's life, spanning from 1932 to 1941, marks the period of his intellectual maturity and his efforts to translate his ideas into practical life. In 1933, he assumed the editorship of Tarjumanul Quran in Hyderabad. More than a journal, it has been the precursor, a movement, rise up the message of the Quran and go forth to win the world.
According to the Quran, our true test is how well we discharge our duties as God's vice-regents in this world, in complete subservience and obedience to His will. We are not judged by the extent of our success in the fields of business and industry, construction and farming, creating a magnificent culture, or governing a country.